Hi guys, it's Dave at thehumbletrekker channel. How are you doing today? I've taken myself out of my normal environment. I've gone several hours north of Stockholm and I've arrived in the heart of Sweden, the county of Dalarna. I'm on the southern shores of Lake Siljan. Those of you who are knife lovers would have heard of Mora, and the actual town of Mora, where the company of Mora Knives comes from now, and where it's famous historically being a centre of knife making in Sweden, is on the northern shores of Lake Siljan, and that's about 40-50 kilometres in that direction. Going to be doing a bit of fishing today. It really seems that autumn is kicking in today. It's blowing a gale. It's a single digit centigrade. First time I've needed to put a sweater on since the spring. Let's see how it goes. I'm going to be using my Fishing Wolf Hobo reels, which are handmade in the UK. This is the first generation, this is the second generation. I've got a whole video on my first generation one. There'll be a link in the card on the screen. And they've actually come out of a second generation. And I'll just show you what the improvements they've made on it really. First of all, you can see it's a little bit, a few millimetres shorter, but now they've barrel turned it, so it gives it a nice handle there. They've beveled the spool end here so that you can cast it easier. The line will slip off the spool easier, and they've made the storage compartment a little larger, and instead of having a wooden stopper, turn stopper, as it is here, they've put in a cork bung so you get a nice tight fit. And this, did I say this holder's a little bit bigger now? I've got a float in there. And they've included an O-ring here so you can tuck your line under there and keep it nice and tidy. I was just walking to another location to try and do a bit of fishing, and coming along the path I saw this old grey pine stump here. Looks unassuming, nothing really special, kind of grey, kind of rotten, kind of old. And I glimpsed down and I saw a little shining piece of red here, and this old root, which is so this thick, about 2 to 3 inches diameter, is not rotten. This is rock hard, and this redness here indicates it's fatwood, and this is primo fatwood. This stuff is dripping with fat and crystals. Let me zoom in on it. A piece like this is like wooden solid jet fuel. You see, you pull this off and it's full of resin. See the redness coming out there, and it's sticky. This looks like a dry old nothing root, but just this section from here to here, and I can actually see crystals of the resin coming out the top of the root here. This is what you're really looking for when you're on a fatwood hunt. I'm going to get some water to polish this up to see if we can get the red out. Before the polishing, let me scrape some of this, get some scrapings of this resinous fatwood off. You don't know what fatwood is? Fatwood is, it's basically nature's greatest fire starter. It's old pine wood which is full of resin, and it smells absolutely of pine, pitch. Such a beautiful smell, beautiful piney resinous smell. I just tried to collect some water on with some wet pine needles. I didn't have any container, and now you can see the redness showing up much better. And you see when I scrape it, you get this crystalline material coming off, and that will just go up like a bomb if you put a flame to it or a spark. Here's a really cool bit of driftwood. Why it's wasted in here. Looks like the perfect for a bit of exercise. the human ox. I'd like to take this home. It's not practical for me to walk with it. Obviously what's happened is someone's had it on a fire, it's burnt through, and then it's still blackened here. And then it's drifted up onto the beach. Here we got some less attractive human waste. This is even worse. I can take this with me. I can't take the rope with me, unfortunately, or do anything with it. I'll take this and bin this, at least that's doing something to clean up. I kicked out the fatwood. Application of the standard right boot did the trick. A couple of kicks and it just came out. So from here to here was above the ground, the rest was below the ground. Let me cut off a little bit of this wood kerosene and get it smoking. I'm sawing through this to get a nice cross section of the fatwood, and this is a good sign. It's actually so resinous, the saw teeth is bunging up the resinous wood. You see that? It's just like a layer of glue embedded in the teeth of the Leatherman wave saw. So it actually makes it rather difficult to saw through because you lose all traction in your teeth. This is what you want to see on a cross section of primo fatwood. A marbling effect to the red resin dripping wood root. And if you catch it in the right light, it's actually translucent. I'll start off just by burning a few chips of the fatwood so you get an idea of the black smoke and the oily nature of this wood. See, it goes up immediately as if it's doused in petrol, and you get this deep black smoke coming out. This deep red flame really is like it's doused in a accelerant, and with that type of hot flame, ease of burning, flammability, you can really get your fire started using ordinary wood if you start with this fatwood, a small amount of this fatwood. Opportunistic fishing is exactly that. You've got a few hours to kill, you're in a spot you've probably never been there before, and you have to take what you're given, and what I've been given is basically a fish desert. I've been able to scout about 500 metres backwards and forwards in a couple of hours, and all it is very, very shallow beach, sandy, small shingle going out to a distance of 30 or 40 metres, and it's gin clear water. We've had a storm Knut rolling in for the last 3-4 days, so then you got a lot of pressure fluctuations, air pressure fluctuations, and I'm out after perch today. I've been jigging. I can't float fish because the wind is just going to move the float around too much. I don't have time to bait up a spot. Even if I had time to bait up, I can't ledger. You know, as far as I can get out with this, it's only going to be 18 inches deep. I'm not going to catch a fish ledger in there. So really, honestly, going backwards and forwards here, I was looking for like a deep drop off that I could reach with a Hobo reel. It just wasn't forthcoming. So I've just been practicing some casting. I mean, it's very tough with the wind. I'm very impressed with the Hobo reel. I'll talk about that later. But you know, the air pressure that forces the perch down into deeper water. Perch have got a very sensitive air bladder, and that means they can only change depth at a very slow rate, or a great depth at a very slow rate. A couple of 2-3 meters, and they never like to change depth more than 2 or 3 meters. You know, less than an hour's ability to do it. So there's no way they're going to come in with this high pressure, low pressure changes we even have, and they've been getting out deep in the lake and going down. And even if that wasn't the case, this shallow, very shallow beach, sandy, gin clear water is not the place you're going to, this time of the year, where you're going to be getting perch coming in. They're just not there. There's no bait fish for them there. There's no other prey crayfish or anything for them to take. So it was one of those days I didn't even, like, no hopes of catching a fish, but once I saw the water, once I saw the conditions. But I thought I'd get a hook in there just to get a bit of film, just to get a bit of film of the casting and test out a new Hobo reel. All I did, well, I tried a couple of different jigs. I ended up at the end here using this yellow curly tail with a red head. I'm not sure the weight of it, but you can see it's quite small. And with this, I was getting about 15 meters out, even in the blustery conditions. And against the wind, I was getting about 10-12 meters. So I think this beveled head is an advantage in terms of how it casts out. It doesn't get you get less friction, and it casts out very nicely. Just got to have a chance to get out in some ideal conditions where I can actually get a damn fish on the hook. And now with the winter rolling in, that's going to be more and more difficult, but we'll see how things go over the next couple of weeks. Thanks for watching, guys. Sorry I couldn't get a fish, really disappointed about that, but it was just not the right location with the right weather conditions. Just a fish desert going on here. Little bit of a bonus, blanked on the fish, but did manage to pick up some primo fatwood. Probably going to follow up on a video of that, making some little fire starters out of that, because that's some really high quality fatwood, so I'm pleased about that. If you're a subscriber, thanks for being a subscriber. You know you keep the channel going. If you enjoy videos like this where you see a guy out in the wind basically doing nothing apart from picking up an old piece of wood, don't forget I come out with regular videos just like this, so hit that subscribe button and I'll see you next time. Take it easy.